NFL draft is coming soon. It's happening soon, and there's a lot of people in this business that delve deep into the tape, understanding these prospects and really understanding where they will fit in this league. And one of those guys, as you heard Brian brought us earlier talk about, is our next guest that joins us on the D&M Leasing Hotline. His name is Voch Lombardi. Voch, what's happening, my man?
Voch.
What's good with y'all? Let me just say this, man. Grushnikov, man. Let me just give a little breakdown on him. I'm playing. I never heard of
I thought you had it.
I don't know what the hell y'all talking about, man. I don't know nothing about the
Talking
stars.
Look,
Look, man, I was on the phone. Y'all was like, oh, we got some breaking news, and I was getting excited, man, and I thought I just don't know none of those people you said today, bro.
You thought Steven made a move?
I'm sorry that happened when I was on the phone with you, because I ain't got nothing for you. We just have to move right on from hockey, bro. I got nothing.
Look,
good with y'all. How y'all doing? Shouts out to Franklin, and all that.
That's right, man. I'm doing really great when we have an opportunity to talk to you. And look, whenever I mention your name, like you're about to be on the air, everything pops up. I'm talking about the YouTube. I'm talking about the Twitch. I'm talking about the text line. Everybody's excited to hear what you have, and I don't even know where to start. But one of the things I do want to talk about is, I mentioned it's Combine Week. And you are a draft guy, but I know that Combine ain't really your bag. So I did want to start here. What's your beef with the Combine?
The Combine is not for me, so my whole thing is I'm film first. There's nothing that the Combine can tell me that the film hasn't told me, right? So if I was a GM, if I was a coach, or if I was an owner or something like that, they get to talk to the players, they get to talk to the doctors. I can't get the medical report. That's a HIPAA violation, I think. So, all the important things, I know that some of these offensive linemen are going to be strong. I know some of these wide receivers are going to run fast, but the super Combine Illuminati meetings they be having in the back, I'm not privy to none of that. So just in my opinion, Combine is really something that you, one, pair with the film, but two, I may look at the Combine and there may be one or two players that I've never seen before. And I go, man, why is that 300-pound dude running so fast? I never heard of him before. But then I go watch the film and that player is terrible. And okay, that's why I never heard of you. Okay, 'cause you're just not very, very good. But you run fast. You have a very good athletic profile, right? But I tend to lean on my film first. Then I lean on these all-star games because that's real-life football. But as far as just people running and talking in the Illuminati groups, they don't let me in those meetings. So I don't really care too much about the Combine in that way.
Great breakdown.
What do you think about some of these agents not allowing their clients to go out there and do some of those same things?
The old man football person would be like, hey, man, go out there and show your skills, show why you're the best. Competition means something to these coaches and and you're probably asking because Caleb Williams is not going to go throw, right? And we would love to see, him throw. But I think something that these coaches, scouts, GMs, I think something that they really value is being able to see these dudes next to each other. So when we get to see, let's just say wide receiver Malik Neighbors versus wide receiver Rome Odunze, okay, both those dudes run routes pretty good. Let me see what you look like with this route that you didn't run in your college, but then you get to run it back to back. Let me see what you look like when you have to look over one shoulder, change direction, and catch the ball over another shoulder. And then we're going to watch him do it. So that's why I think it's valuable. So I'm not the biggest fan of, hey, I know I'm the best quarterback, I'm just going to not show up. I would much rather you go, hey, I'm the best quarterback, and I'm going to force media to talk about me for the next 5 days because I'm just going to outthrow all y'all children. But hey, they don't make competitors like they used to.
It's Voch Lombardi of The Volume joining us right here on 105 through the Fan. And Voch, it is mock draft season as well. The Dallas Cowboys, looks like a lot of mock drafts have them taking advantage of what seems like a deep offensive line draft, drafting offensive linemen, particularly maybe tackles. If that did come to pass, these Cowboys take an offensive lineman or particularly a tackle, how would you feel about that, provided the bodies that are out there?
I think you should draft offensive line every single year. It maybe doesn't have to be in the first round or day 2 and 3, but There's 5 offensive linemen on your offense. I'm bad at math, but that's like 45% of your offense, you know. And we're Cowboy fans. I don't have to tell y'all this. Just because you're good at right guard don't mean you good at center. Or just because your left tackle's playing like a maniac, it doesn't mean that your right tackle's playing well. Okay, well, you know, Tyron played 13 games. And let me just knock on some wood loudly. Boy, 13 games from Tyron is fantastic. But what happens in those other 4 when Chuma Dog look like he don't know the plays, right? So you should be ready for that. You should be prepped for that.
Right.
And the one thing I don't want to do, if this was any other team, I'd be like, hey, you know, see what fits your team, take the best player, go from there. But the Cowboys are trying to compete for a Super Bowl. So I don't want to leave any stones unturned. Just like all these other teams, just like the Eagles, just like San Fran, they don't leave stones unturned. So I don't want to just be like, hey, man, Brock Hoffman played really well versus the Washington Football Wizards backups, and he played really well versus the Arizona Cardinals. I want that dude to play center for me for 17 games. I don't want to be, oh, he's cool guy. I love overkill, right? Look, Jerry Jones say this all the time. Make your strength a strength by keep strengthening it, right? He said it just like that. That's how I said it.
Yep.
So in my mind, if I got 3 All-Pros, I don't see nothing wrong with putting the first-round pick on a center or a tackle potentially for the future and possibly making me another All-Pro. Because I tell you what, the Lions don't care how many offensive linemen that they got in the first round. The Eagles don't care how many offensive linemen.
Right.
There's no such thing as good enough for these dudes, right? When you're trying to win a Super Bowl, you can't leave stones unturned, especially when you don't have a run game and you're trying to get it going. You should probably go and get that center or that extra offensive lineman so you could try to get your run game going. And luckily for us, Kellen Moore's not here. So if we do draft offensive lineman, we're not going to try to throw the football to him, you know?
All right.
That's fine.
With that being the case, who is the guy, right? Who is the guy that Voch Lombardi has not been able to get off his mind?
Well, just for Cowboys. Okay, so look, I do the work for everybody, right? I just belong to the whole street. So if we're just talking about my favorite offensive lineman so far, Talisi Fuaga, Oregon State, super run blocker, fresh out the box. Like soon as you open up the Amazon pack and put him on your team, he's moving people off the film. And there's nothing better for me as an offensive, like just me watching offensive linemen moving people off the screen. Tyler Smith did it all the time. His hands were just in terrible places. His feet were bad, but he was at least moving people off the film. I love strength and I love physicality, but there's no way Talisi Fuaga is going to fall to our beloved Dallas Cowboys. So I'm looking to fix offensive line. I'm looking to fix center in particular. So Jackson Powers Johnson, people are saying there's no way Jackson Powers Johnson be there at 24, center from Oregon. Well, don't tell me what he can't be because teams suck at drafting. There's very much a possibility that teams around the Cowboys could take a player that's worse than Jackson Powers Johnson and let us have Jackson Powers Johnson. It happens every single year. I would love to have him, but if he's not there, the left tackle from Duke, Graham Barton, he can show up, play a little bit of center for you. If you want to play the whole Tyler Smith, do you want to play left tackle, then hey, Graham Barton can play guard for you, but he's there. The thing about the Cowboys, what they're going to try to sell you on is that we're just going to take the best player available. So the best player at 24, look, quarterbacks are going to push guys down, wide receivers, you know, all that. The best player could be a corner. Cooper DeJean from Iowa could be there. You know, Byron Murphy from Texas, 3-tech defensive tackle, he could be there. So, you know, I just don't want Cowboy fans to get in this box of we have to take offensive line because we don't know what free agency is going to look like and we don't know what team is going to make a mistake and make a good player fall to us. So, you know, we'll see.
I'm also super excited about Cooper DeJean just so we can have a white boy that does not get moved to safety. I can't wait.
Hey, man, I stand with Cooper DeJean.
That's right.
And the best thing about Cooper DeJean, right, he has fail safes built into his traits or whatever. I think he can play outside corner.
Really?
Just in case
he's not just a slot?
100%. I like him outside because he has the hips. He's physical. He comes down, runs the alley. He tackles. He punches the hell out of these wide receivers at the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
He punches the hell out of these wide receivers at 5 yards. Sometimes he punches them at 8. But my favorite thing about, you know, and it's many corners this year that do this, but ball skill guy. Cowboys constantly have these corners that we can't stand. They may be good in coverage, and they're hip-to-hip in coverage, but they're not looking for the football, right? Trey Diggs, Deron Bland, what they have made us very, very spoiled about, right, is if I'm covering somebody, but the ball's over there, I'm not just going to keep running with you. The ball's over there. So when you watch Cooper DeJean is very much so, hey, the ball's over there guy. If we was doing this on YouTube, I would have 3 plays to show you right now of him leaving the guy that he's covering because the ball is over there. I love that about Cooper DeJean. But if he can't play outside, put him in slot and let him be big slot guy. And if he can't play slot, then you pull the race card and let him play safety.
Don't do it. Don't pull a race card. Let him play corner. Let him be great. I don't know why they don't believe the white guys can do that. They can believe white folks can do everything else. Let them play corner.
Historically, they can't. But Cooper DeJean is going to bring a revolution. I believe in him.
You're not going to tell me that we haven't had white boys that can play corner. We just make them play slot wide receiver or something. They can play. I believe it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Speaking of wide receivers, supposed to be a plethora of wide receivers in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of Cowboy fans and media who think that Michael Gallup is all but gone, that he'll probably be one of those post-draft cuts, or early June cuts, whatever it is. What's your take on that? Should Michael Gallup be gone? And if they were going to bring in some wide receivers, who's looking good?
So, Chris, let's just not get carried away here, and I hope he's not listening. Michael Gallup should 100% be gone. Sorry, bro. But he's just not living up to his contract right now. Plus, I don't want Michael Gallup to keep my young guys from improving or to keep my young guys from actually getting in-game reps or whatnot. So I do think it's time, humbly, respectfully, to move on from Michael Gallup. As far as wide receiver goes, I think we're in a bit of a pickle here because there are many first-round receivers. Pardon me, there are many receivers that would be on the board at 24 in the first round that I would absolutely love. But BPA always has asterisks. BPA always has caveats, right? I don't think wide receiver is an emergency.
Right.
We got wide receiver.
Right.
Center is an emergency.
Thank you. Ding, 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 ding.
You know what I mean? Linebacker is an emergency.
Yes.
There are certain places. Running back is an emergency. You don't go in those
Yes.
places in the first round or anything. But if there's not a center there, and if there's not an offensive tackle there, because I think tackle is a little bit more of an emergency than wide receiver is. But if those positions are not there and it makes sense from how the players are lined up on your board, if a wide receiver is there, Brian Thomas from LSU, Troy Franklin from Oregon plays all over the formation. Even guys like Keon Coleman, wide receiver, Florida State, ex-receiver, strong hands, 50-50 ball guy, kind of got some dares in him, but he ain't dead, so I don't want to just say that on Dallas Cowboy radio like that. If you have an opportunity to get these guys, hell yeah, let's get them and celebrate at Golden Corral or something, But we got many, many more needs before we should go wide receiver. But free agency will definitely tell the tale. 9 times out of 10, the Cowboys are going to sign some veteran-type wide receiver. One of these Darryl Worley-type wide receivers we ain't got a whole bunch of faith in. One of these James Washington-type guys. One of these, hey, we fill the position just to be there just in case Gallup isn't there for real. But if we get totally wiped out on centers and offensive linemen, then sure, you could talk me into going wide receiver.
Real quick before we go, and obviously does not have to be a first round conversation here, but you mentioned linebacker is indeed an emergency. Does that feel like something that you address in the draft, or does that feel like something that the Cowboys need to address in free agency?
You should probably go for a veteran linebacker.
Thank you.
And then you should draft a linebacker in the second round, and maybe you should think about linebacker again in the 7th, and then there should be an undrafted dude. Because, look, the only linebacker you have right now is Damone Clark. Overshown's coming off injury, and Marquise Bell is, going back home. You know what I'm saying? Zimmer ain't playing that. So you really don't have linebackers on your team at all. Yeah. Like Tyrus Wheat is a linebacker, but he's probably more of a pass rusher. But so you need dudes. So Eric Kendricks is a dude that we like, and I say his name first because he's a Mike Zimmer guy. So possibly if we want to throw him $38 a year, hopefully he bites. And there are many linebackers in this draft that we can look at. Edgerrin Cooper seems to be everybody's darling, but if we can just keep it a buck here, because that's what we do, yes, I don't think he makes it to the second round here. So you may have to look at Jeremiah Trotter, but Cowboys don't like shorter linebackers. So Cedric Gray from North Carolina is a guy that they could like, but what I'm hoping for, and the Cowboys do this all the time, Peyton Wilson from North Carolina State would be my linebacker one, but he's injury guy. But here's the thing about him being injury guy. It ain't like he was injured last year. He was injured like 3 years ago. And his last 2 years, he's just been playing healthy and injury-free. So I think his stock is going to fall because teams look at him and go, "Oh, well, he's had double-digit surgeries. Well, damn it, the surgery worked. He's fine. He's good to go. He's moving. He's moving well." You know what I mean? So there are some players in this draft, and shouts out to the Combine, where you're going to have to get the medical background on these dudes. But if we could just sneakily get Peyton Wilson, I'm not going to call him a Sean Lee type character. I don't want to say that on Dallas Cowboys radio. But if you can get a Peyton Wilson and put him under an Eric Kendricks and put him next to an Overshown and find some 7th round dude to just go play kickoff or something, then linebacker should be pretty good for you.
He is Voch Lombardi. We can call him a light blue star special since it's not quite, you know what I mean? But his name is Voch Lombardi. You can catch him on the volume. YouTube, Voch Lombardi. You know how to spell it. Voch, also Twitter, all sorts of places. Make sure to check out my man. I forget how quickly this thing goes. We might need to get you back here in a week or two. Does that sound like something we can do?
Yep, tap in with me. I'm not doing nothing else but watching film. I'm watching film right now. So, yeah, let me know.
Man, keep up with my man. He knows what he's talking about. He gives the goods every time we call him. I appreciate you greatly, my man.
Thanks, Voch.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yep.